Hey guys, it's Oluvids, and today I want to talk about how the Kingdom Hearts side of games pretty much carried the Kingdom Hearts series for many years now. I mainly thought of this when thinking about Kingdom Hearts 4, but I don't want KH4 to just be the same thing over again that we've done in KH1, 2, and 3. I don't want it to just be, the same old, alright, Sora, Donald, and Goofy, go around, fight some Disney villains, and then fight a Xehanort or something. Like, I want things to be a little different this time. Not to say it's take out Disney or to take out Donald and Goofy or anything like that, but maybe I think it would be cool if they could find some new way to incorporate Disney into the story. And obviously we're in Quadratum, so it's obviously not going to already be in the same realm of light that we're in for Kingdom Hearts. And things like that, people have a lot of questions on Yozora or where Riku is or what Kairi's going to do or Aqua, all these different groups are going to do. I want them to take some cues from the side games because of the fact that those games actually did a lot of unique stuff that we have not done in any of the number titles. I've noticed this when people are talking about Kingdom Hearts 3, we're always talking about what Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 did. We don't really talk about what Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop and Days and all that stuff did. When you really think about it, it is some really interesting stuff. So starting off with Chain of Memories. That game, still a Sora, Donald, and Goofy game, but it had kind of the Castle Oblivion kind of, gimmick. They had the whole memories thing going on. Using those memories, they were able to kind of manipulate the characters to do certain things. There's definitely a unique story within the Kingdom Hearts series, and it all takes place within that one castle, which is pretty cool. And we have a villain that's not Xehanort, of course, and that's the first introduction of the Organization 13. It's also the first game where we had a full story mode dedicated to a different character. Obviously, Kingdom Hearts 1 was Sora, just plays as him. You get that perspective. You might see cutscenes of Riku every once in a while, but you don't get to play as him. You don't really get to see that much. Chain of Memories let you have a whole campaign of Riku, and instead of Sora, Donald, and Goofy, it was Riku and Mickey. So you got more of those two characters, which you typically wouldn't have seen that much of. Even through its music, they had a lot of the organ sounds and all that. It has a very distinct identity, and it very much sets itself apart from Kingdom Hearts 1. Despite it being a Kingdom Hearts 1 redo game, it's like Chain of Memories and KH1 are two very completely different things. I'm not even talking about gameplay, I'm just talking about even just the story and how it plays out. The Disney selection is obviously the same, but just the way these things play out is pretty different. Of course, we also, we went to Kingdom Hearts 2, and after that we had Kingdom Hearts Days. Really think about it, we had a Kingdom Hearts game we play as the villains. Like, we literally see in the perspective of these games from the villain's point of view, from Organization 13. Think about this. We had a game where you play as Organization 13. Like, that's actually kind of crazy. Like when you really think about it in comparison to the numbered games, it's, yeah, you have a game where you play as the bad guys. You get to see their point of view. Of course, you get to see now, because you're playing as Roxas, and within the organization, you see things you didn't see when you're playing as Sora in KH2, or even from Roxas's data section in KH2. Yeah, the mission system. I'm not even really a huge fan of the mission system, but it does give Days kind of its distinct identity. So you're kind of following the story across a little over a year, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you're basically following the story across a year, and you go through each day. At some points there's like days where they skip, but so that kind of changes the way the story plays out, just from the mission structure and going through each day. You see the gang come back on the tower and talk about their day and their lives and all that, and go home, and that whole thing. And just the fact that you're working for the organization completely changes the vibe. Even the way they go about Disney Worlds isn't the same thing. It's not just like, okay, let's go here, find the keyhole. You're doing like recon, you're like, alright, collect hearts, you got different missions, because you're Organization 13, you're not doing the same thing as Sora. So you have your own goals to do there. So I think that's pretty cool. Again, pretty different from when you just put Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, just think about those, then you think about what Days did. Days actually did some pretty cool stuff. Then we even have Birth by Sleep. That game literally lets you have 3 different playable characters, 3 different routes. Never been done before in Kingdom Hearts. We had at most 2 in Chain of Memories. Now we have 3 different characters, and these are brand new characters. It's not none of these characters is Sora. It's a completely different character. Ventus, Terra, Aqua, 3 completely different playthroughs, but they happen at the same time. So what that does, it's a bit different from Chain of Memories, where they went Sora and Riku. They're kind of in the same castle, but they're in different sections of it. What they do usually doesn't really affect that much what the other person does. Now, in Birth by Sleep, you have each character going to the same world, so you do the same worlds 3 times, but it doesn't really get stale, because one, there's different characters, so they have different ways they approach things, and they have kind of, the way their storyline goes out is a little different. and it's in different points in time. Most of the time you might play as, this world as one character, then and you know what happens after that, because now you're playing as Ventus and he came in after, or he came in before that, and you get to see kind of the progression of the world through the perspective of different characters going through it. Think about this too. I wouldn't say that Terra, Aqua, and Ven are like just like Sora, Riku, and Kairi, but they had some definite parallels in the beginning of the game. And think about this. Imagine a game where you had Sora, Riku, and Kairi, like 3 different routes for all 3 of them. You can see a whole game rather than just being from Sora's perspective, and you see cutscenes of Sora, of Riku and Kairi. 3 routes. You get to see kind of the same adventure, but from 3 different perspectives. When you put it that way, it's like, wow. But Birth by Sleep did is really cool. Like, despite everything Kingdom Hearts 2 did, you got the revisits, you got the Thousand Heartless battle, you got all these crazy things. You got it, the way it tells the story again was, I think, great. But when you really think about the side games, they don't just exist. I feel like they kind of push the series forward into ways that not even KH1 or 2 could do. You go into Dream Drop Distance. So Dream Drop is kind of like Rechanted Memories, where it's like 2 different routes and they don't really interact that much. But because of that, you got to have another game dedicated to Riku. I know Sora is there. Sora to me always felt like just more of the typical Kingdom Hearts adventure. I'm like, I don't hate his section, but like it's okay. It's just the usual. The Riku section was really the part that, when I think about what I like about Dream Drop Distance, it's the Riku section mainly. And yeah, you get to see Riku go on an adventure, and he doesn't have the influence of Sora around. So of course in Kingdom Hearts 2 we've seen Sora and Riku team up, but there's no Sora around. There's no influence from Sora, or even Mickey. It's pretty much Riku all on his own, going through a Kingdom Hearts adventure through the Disney worlds and all that, which is pretty awesome. I won't even lie. And despite Enchanted Memories having a Riku route, they didn't really have him go through Disney worlds like that. So this is really the first time we got to see that. In Enchanted Memories, it's just like, you can only see people of darkness. So you just walk into the world and you fight the villain and then you leave. In Dream Drop, he actually has to go through the worlds as if, like how Sora would have to do it. But you see it from Riku's point of view and how he does it. And it's kind of proving himself and sometimes facing his past and things like that. And that was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. This is good. Pushed the series forward in another way. Did something that we haven't really done before. And Recoded, okay, alright, okay, fine. I can't really think of something huge that Recoded did story-wise. I mean, I usually mention you got to have a story where it's like, Donald and Goofy are the ones that taught Sora my friends and my power and this, that. It's not like a huge, like wow, man, no game's ever done this. This is a huge pushing of the Kingdom Hearts storytelling. But, it's cool. It has its own vibe, the data thing going on, blocks and glitches and all that. It's got its own vibe, but you see how, like, each of these different games did something really unique, and I think that's what kept the series from getting stale, because, like, it's not until really, like, Kingdom Hearts 3, where now you go back to the regular formula of numbered games, where now, at least for me, I feel like maybe that style might have held it back a little bit. Like, I think maybe it could have been more interesting if they, say, let you play as Riku more. I remember there was like a rumor back then. Granted, it was a fake rumor, but I remember back then hearing that like there might be a section where you play as young Ericus at the beginning and things like that. And I also think this would have been a good game to dive more into Xehanort. This is more just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but if it was like a side game, they could just do things like it doesn't just have to be focused on Sora. And the thing is, too, Sora is like he's not in the realm of darkness trying to save Akka, which is like really important. I'm glad that KH3 let us like fight, use Riku and fight a little bit, but you didn't really get to play as him that much. Like it wasn't like a route or a section where you played through the realm of darkness. And you don't even really see Master Xehanort for most of the game. And it's kind of how it is in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. You don't see Xemnas pop up a bunch, and you don't see Ansem pop up a bunch. Like it's not like Xehanort in BBS where he's all over the place and he's like actively talking to you and they're having conversations, or like Vanitas actively talking to Ventus and talking to him. So I think with Kingdom Hearts 3, you went, Nomura and all of them, they went back to kind of the numbered titles. I do wonder if partially that's why people kind of feel like, maybe it didn't go as far as they would have hoped for, because we're not just going in with Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 what they did. We're going in with the whole series of everything that's happened so far. And you know, it's like, okay, we've done so much different stuff by now. I don't think that we need to kind of go back and only do one character, or you know, we can alter kind of the way the storytelling is told to fit the narrative that we have. And of course, I wouldn't want Sora to not be the main character. There's been lots of interviews where Nomura was like, hey, when it comes to number titles, Sora is the main character. And I agree, we shouldn't let Sora have most of the screen time, but you know, say if in Kingdom Hearts 4 they want to have a Yazora section, I think they should be allowed to have a certain section, at least where you play as Yazora. Or if they want to do something where it's like, half of the game is Sora in Quadratum, and then the other half is like Kairi in the regular world trying to figure out stuff, going on her own journey with Donald and Goofy maybe. I'd say they should be allowed to do that. I don't think they have to just be like, alright, we're just only going to focus on Sora, and maybe you get like one fight as Kairi or something. I think they should be allowed to like let other characters have the chance to shine, or even just like, I don't know, like with Quadratum and the foretellers and all that, the storytelling could be different too. You could do a lot of things with the story. I mean, we bring in Union Cross. Union Cross kind of had the mission-based system type thing. I mean, I guess you could say for Union Cross, they let you have a Kingdom Hearts game where you could create your own character and put them in there. I mean, I'm not asking for that in Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't really need that, but you know, basically, main thing I wanted to say is that there's so much different ways Kingdom Hearts stories could go, and it hasn't gotten stale for like 10 years. No, it's 20 years now. It hasn't gotten stale for a reason, because all these side games, they like do their own thing, and they experiment. I'd say they're very experimental. I'm not even in. They're experimental in gameplay too, but I'm mainly talking about story in this video. I think in Kingdom Hearts 3 they definitely embraced the experimental nature of the side games. Like they brought in shot locks. They have all these different things you could do. So I'm cool with that. I'm confident that KH4 is gonna have some really unique gameplay. But I think the story, it's like I really hope the story isn't just like the same thing. Like, okay, Sora, Donald, Goofy go on some Disney worlds, and you know, maybe you'll get a fight of Riku for a second, or maybe you can see Yozora for 5 minutes or something. You know, like I like the way it is, and like even things like Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, I really like that story. It doesn't really play out as like a regular Kingdom Hearts story. It's definitely a lot, well, darker than a regular Kingdom Hearts story. And I think that, you know, yeah, just like I want this series to not stagnate and do the same thing over and over when it comes to number titles. Like, I don't think the numbered games have to be restricted to what Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and now 3 did. I think that they should also take notes from the side games. If they want to do something unique, they want to let you play as the foreteller, they want to have a foretellers game, I think they could go ahead and do that. Even beyond Kingdom Hearts 4 into the next phase. They want to do like a Vermin Rex game, a foretellers game, definitely I'd say go for it. Or, you know, again, just have Sora be the main character, have most of the screen time, but you could have different sections with different characters. Maybe for the sake of storytelling, just like fleshing out things or anything, even if Sora doesn't know it, you know. But yeah, I think these side games, they did so much really cool stuff. Melody Memory, I wouldn't really say that they didn't really do much special with the story. I mean, it's a rhythm game. You can see Kingdom Hearts narrated by Kairi. For every other side game, there's like something cool and unique they did compared to the number titles. Not even Kingdom Hearts. I'm a Kingdom Hearts 2 chill, but like Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop, they did a lot of stuff that not even Kingdom Hearts 2 has done. And I think we also, again, even as a Kingdom Hearts 2 fan, even if you're like a Kingdom Hearts 2 fan that's not, maybe they, you know, I don't think you should just compare Kingdom Hearts 2 or even Kingdom Hearts 1 if like KH4 comes out and it's like, oh, they gotta be like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Like, no. I think that we should also look to the side games and, you know, look to that and be like, hey, maybe they could take inspiration here, maybe they could do this. I think they should be allowed to try different things and to be experimental with the story and make something really cool that we haven't seen. And then if they do that, then the series won't really get, you know, stagnant. And we'll have like another 20 years of a good story. Especially we're already 20 years into the story. They're starting a new arc, so it's like they gotta definitely mix things up. And I mean, we had a, you know, feedback cover that was a movie kind of ish type of thing. That's definitely different from the number titles, how those stories play out. Oh, I didn't even mention 0.2. I'm sorry. 0.2. I mean, we had a whole game that takes place. I mean, it's not an entire game, but we had a game that takes place in the Realm of Darkness, and we got to have just these crazy trippy visuals in the Realm of Darkness. And it had Disney in there. It had like the Disney worlds integrated into the story and into the world and all of that. And they had the Disney worlds kind of set pieces, so it did it different. It still had Disney. Like again, I would never ask for them to like get rid of Disney, but like it did Disney in a different way. It used it to kind of tell the story and fit the tone, the somber tone of 0.2, that like, dang, all these worlds got destroyed, and now these destroyed worlds are kind of part of the dark world, and you have to traverse through them. And Aqua's kind of losing her mind, and you see Ven in the Sleeping Beauty thing, and you did all that, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. You got her walking down the stairs. Like, again, there was a lot of really cool things you could do with Disney. It doesn't have to be just, okay, let's go to Disney World, seal the key, go, leave. You could do a lot of stuff with Disney. You can do a whole lot. You could just straight up mix the Disney into the main Kingdom Hearts stuff. I'd like that. I don't even think they have to be like separate worlds. They could, if they wanted to, they could start integrating it into the main plot. Like, go ahead. I just want to see them do some cool stuff. I don't want them to do the same thing over and over again. Anyway, that's kind of my, I guess, ramble. This is not even scripted. I'm just talking. But let me know what you guys think about anything I talked about. Do you want Cage 4 to try something new, or do you want to just like continue the same formula that the number titles go, or just you're just playing as Sora mainly, and would you like to see more characters playable in this series? I mean, we had days with like the whole organization. They even had Donald and Goofy thrown in. Like, you could play as Donald and Goofy in the game. That's kind of crazy. That's literally the only game you can play as Donald and Goofy, and they've been in the series for, well, the entire series' existence. Yeah, like, because when thinking of Kingdom Hearts 4, and you see Donald and Goofy's on their own adventure, but like if you think about it in the number title thing, you'll see them in cutscenes, but you can't really do anything with them. You're not gonna be part of the game. If they wanted to, they could literally let you play as Donald and Goofy. If they really wanted to, that's not impossible. They've done it in days. This is what I mean, where it's like you can, when you start embracing the I guess philosophy of the side games, you can literally do whatever you want, and I'm all for it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Be sure to subscribe and leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it, and as I said, leave a comment if you want to leave a comment and tell me your thoughts and how I'm correct or wrong, or just like you have a cool idea. Anyway, see you guys next time.